The Galactic Council's citadel floated silently above the shimmering planet of Zephora. Its spires reached into the sky, reflecting light from nearby stars like giant crystal towers. Delegates from hundreds of species gathered inside, their eyes fixed on the grand entrance. They were used to newcomers, but Earth's humans were different. No one expected them to be bold, strong, or clever. They expected polite words, careful negotiations, maybe some timid excuses. They did not expect humans to arrive like a storm. Ambassador Elena Hayes led the human delegation. She walked with quiet confidence, her dark hair tied neatly behind her, her sharp eyes scanning the crowd. Around her, other humans followed calmly. No one hurried, no one panicked, and yet every movement radiated authority. The alien delegates whispered and pointed, some hiding fear behind polite smiles. Humanity's reputation had already reached the far corners of the galaxy. Stories of their resilience, courage, and unexpected victories traveled faster than light. A silver-scaled alien stepped forward, his eyes narrowing. "Humans," he hissed, "you come unprepared. You are expected to speak, to plead, to negotiate." Elena looked at him steadily. Her voice was soft but carried over the room. "We understand," she said, "but we will not negotiate with threats. We will act if we must." The alien snorted, clearly amused. "And what can you do? You are small. Your planet is young. You lack the power of the great empires here." Behind Elena, the massive doors of the council hall began to slide open. Light flooded the room, reflecting off the polished floors and alien armor. The humans' fleet hovered just beyond the citadel, fully visible through the massive energy shields. Hundreds of ships, sleek and deadly, formed perfect formations in space. Their metal gleamed with an unusual alloy that no one recognized. Their engines glowed softly, humming like a heartbeat. The council went silent. Some delegates stepped back, others clutched their control consoles, checking and double-checking their readings. They had assumed humans would be weak, hesitant, afraid. Instead, the humans radiated calm power. They were ready, not for words, but for action. Elena raised her hand slightly. The ships outside pulsed in response, lights flickering in perfect harmony. It was a message no one could misinterpret. Humanity was prepared, and they would not be bullied. General Marcus Vey, commander of the fleet, spoke to the human delegation quietly through a secure channel. "Remember," he said, "we are not here to destroy. We are here to protect. But if they force war, we will give them no choice." Elena nodded, feeling the weight of every life depending on this moment. She turned back to the council chamber, her eyes calm but fierce. "We did not come to beg," she said. "We came to stand, and we will not fall." The murmurs among the council grew louder. Alien leaders whispered among themselves. They had never seen such confidence from a species so young in galactic history. Their words, their threats, their ancient experience, they all seemed meaningless compared to the quiet resolve of humanity. And then, like a wave over the sea, a realization swept across the room. Humans were not here to negotiate in fear. They were here to be counted, to be respected, to remind the galaxy that some things, honor, courage, and freedom, cannot be bargained away. Outside, the human fleet waited, silent and ready. The stars reflected off their hulls like fire in the dark. The galaxy had expected words. What it saw instead was the promise of action. And the first ripple of fear ran through every empire in the council. The council's chamber trembled with tension as the alien leaders issued their ultimatum. Surrender the newly discovered star systems, they demanded, or face the combined power of their fleets. The words were sharp, cold, meant to intimidate. They had expected humans to bend, to negotiate under pressure, to plead for mercy. They did not expect the calm, unwavering gaze of Ambassador Elena Hayes. Elena stood tall, her hands folded neatly before her. "We hear your demands," she said, her voice clear and steady. "But we do not negotiate with threats. Humanity will not yield." The alien leaders blinked, some recoiling in surprise. One of the council's oldest empires, A towering being covered in crystalline armor hissed in disbelief. "Do you understand the consequences, human? Do you know what you are facing?" Elena's lips curved into a faint smile. "We do, and we are ready." Far above, in orbit around the Citadel, humanity's fleet waited in perfect formation. Hundreds of ships, each one gleaming under the light of nearby stars, hummed with power. Their engines glowed a deep blue, their hulls reflecting the nebula clouds like mirrors. Every ship was equipped with weapons capable of immense destruction. But humans did not brandish them recklessly. They used their fleet to demonstrate order, precision, and the promise of protection. In the flagship Liberty, General Marcus Vey stood on the bridge, looking out at the alien armada gathering nearby. His voice carried over the comm system to every human vessel. "Prepare all systems," he ordered. "We do not start this fight, but if they force our hand, we will show them the price of underestimating humanity." The alien coalition, confident in their numbers, moved to encircle the human fleet. Their ships were vast, powerful, and tested in countless battles. Yet even their bravest captains hesitated when they realized how tightly the humans coordinated. Every human vessel seemed to anticipate the enemy's move, slipping through attacks with near-perfect timing. Their shields shimmered, energy arrays pulsed in synchrony, and the enemy's scanners could not predict their formations. Back in the council chamber, murmurs filled the air. Delegates whispered to one another, shocked at what they were seeing. Humans, so new to galactic politics, had not sent envoys with words alone. They had arrived with a fleet that could not be ignored. Elena turned to face the council again. "We are not here to conquer," she said. "We are here to protect our people and every system that chooses freedom over fear. If you continue with threats, we will act, but if you step back, there is a chance for peace." The alien leaders glared at her, but some hesitated. They had never faced a species that combined intelligence, strategy, and courage so perfectly. Humans were not impulsive or reckless. Every move, every formation, every signal sent a clear message. Humanity fights with purpose and will not be intimidated. On the bridge of the Liberty, General Vey watched as alien scouts approached the fleet. Small, fast ships meant to probe and harass. They were the first to feel humanity's response. With precise strikes, human weapons disabled their engines without causing fatal damage. The enemy realized that humans could destroy them if needed, but chose not to. Humanity's strength was as much in restraint as in power. Elena's eyes softened slightly, though her voice remained firm. "We do not wish for war," she said, "but we will not allow fear to dictate the future. Remember this, courage is stronger than threats, and honor is stronger than fear." A ripple of unease spread through the council. The humans, expected to negotiate and beg, had refused to submit. They had spoken with action rather than words, and the galaxy was beginning to take notice. Outside, the fleet held its formation, calm and ready, a silent promise in the void. The aliens had demanded compliance. Instead, they had been met with resolve, discipline, and the quiet but unmistakable roar of human power. The first clash came near the glowing nebula of Epsilon 9. Alien cruisers moved in tight formations, their weapons charging, ready to overwhelm the human fleet. But humanity had anticipated every move. Captain Lena Zhao piloted the horizon, weaving through enemy fire with skill that left even the aliens surprised. She coordinated her wing with precise commands, striking at weak points and avoiding unnecessary destruction. Explosions bloomed, in the void like deadly stars. Alien ships shuddered as human fire disabled their engines and weapons with incredible precision. The humans were not reckless. They fought smart. Every maneuver, every strike demonstrated the deadly combination of strategy, technology, and courage that made humanity unique. Meanwhile, back in the council chamber, delegates watched in disbelief. Their voices rose in frantic debate. "They are young," one hissed. "They should falter." But humans did not falter. They moved with purpose, not arrogance, not anger, but sheer resolve. Their calm was unnerving, their courage undeniable. General Marcus Vey observed the battlefield from the Liberty. "Focus on defense first," he ordered. "Disable their weapons, protect our people, every system matters." The human fleet responded like a single organism, moving with a discipline that shocked even the most veteran alien commanders. Amid the chaos, a young pilot named Aiden Core spotted an alien cruiser on the verge of explosion. Without hesitation, he maneuvered between the cruiser and a barrage of plasma fire. With a risky precision strike, he neutralized the incoming shots and guided the cruiser away from certain destruction. The alien crew stared in shock. Humans, they realized, fought not just with skill, but with honor. Elena Hayes stood on the observation deck of the Council Citadel, watching the battle unfold. Her hands were clenched lightly, but her eyes were steady. "We are not fighting for conquest," she said softly. "We fight to protect. Every life counts, even theirs, if they choose peace." The aliens had expected humans to negotiate. They had expected words. They did not expect action, and certainly not the combination of power and morality they were witnessing. Each human strike was precise, each formation perfect. Their fleet, it's not just a weapon, it was a statement. Humanity would defend itself and those who sought freedom no matter the odds. As the battle continued, alien ships began to falter. Some retreated in confusion, others surrendered when they realized resistance was futile. Humans did not pursue them recklessly. They offered safe passage, showing that mercy and strength could coexist. News of these actions rippled through the galaxy, reaching distant worlds and smaller empires who had long suffered under the Council's dominance. Captain Zhao guided her wing into a final maneuver, creating a trap that forced the largest alien cruisers to stand down. Explosions rocked the void around them, but the humans suffered almost no losses. Every move had been calculated, precise, and devastatingly effective. Elena's voice echoed through secure channels, calm but firm. "Let this be a message," she said. "Humanity does not seek war, but we will not be intimidated. Strength is measured by action, courage, and honor. Remember that." By the end of the battle, the alien coalition realized they had misjudged humanity. Humans were not reckless, nor were they naive. They were disciplined, courageous, and willing to risk everything for freedom. And as the dust of the nebula settled, the galaxy began to take notice. Humanity was not a newcomer to be dismissed. Humanity was a force to be respected. Outside, the human fleet held its formation, silent and ready. The stars reflected off their hulls like mirrors of fire. They had not won with sheer numbers, but with precision, courage, and the unshakable will of a species that refused to be afraid. The first fire in the void had been lit, and humanity's light burned brighter than anyone expected. The galaxy watched in awe as the first battle ended. Alien fleets that had once seemed unstoppable now trembled at the thought of facing humanity. The Council had expected fear, hesitation, and timid words. What they saw instead was calm courage, precise strategy, and a will that refused to break. In the aftermath, small alien factions began reaching out secretly to Ambassador Elena Hayes. They had observed the humans' actions, and what they saw frightened and inspired them at the same time. Humanity fought not for conquest but for freedom. They did not destroy recklessly. They protected, guided, and offered mercy when they could. General Marcus Vey stood on the bridge of the Liberty, scanning the battlefield through holographic displays. "The enemy is disorganized," he said. "They underestimated us. This is the moment we turn the tide." The humans' fleet moved again, but this time with a subtle, almost invisible precision. Instead of attacking head-on, they disrupted alien supply lines and communications, cutting the coalition's coordination. Alien captains shouted orders that went unheeded. Their formations faltered. Systems that had once been under strict control began to break away, and some surrendered without firing a shot. Captain Lena Zhao piloted the horizon through the chaos, guiding smaller alien ships to safety while maintaining her offensive. "We don't just fight," she said over the comms. "We protect those who choose life over fear." Remember that every move matters. Elena addressed the council once more, her voice calm but filled with authority. The galaxy is watching, she said. Courage and honor are stronger than intimidation. You cannot govern through fear when people are willing to stand to fight and to protect each other. In the distant corners of the galaxy, word of humanity's actions spread like wildfire. Star systems that had been oppressed for centuries saw hope for the first time. Alien species began to question their leaders. The council had relied on tradition, on fear, on the weight of their empires. But humans had introduced a new force, unwavering principle combined with unmatched strategy. Back in space, General Vey prepared a coordinated strike against the remaining coalition forces. The humans did not seek total annihilation. They aimed to show that resistance was pointless without surrendering dignity and freedom. Their attacks disabled key weapons and engines, leaving alien captains no choice but to retreat or surrender. Amid the conflict, a young alien envoy approached Elena personally. "Your species, you fight with honor," he said, trembling. "We have never seen such discipline and courage. You are not like the others. You inspire and frighten." Elena nodded solemnly. "We fight for what is right, not for fear, not for glory. Strength without honor is meaningless, remember that." The alien coalition was beginning to crumble. Systems that had once bowed under their power were now choosing freedom, joining the humans quietly, offering intelligence, resources, and trust. Humanity had turned what seemed like certain conflict into a moment of revelation for the galaxy. The Bridge of the Liberty. General Vey gazed at the stars, a rare smile crossing his face. "We are not just winning battles," he said. "We are showing the galaxy who we are, and they will never forget it." Elena stood beside him, her eyes scanning the horizon of space. She knew the war was far from over, but this turning point mattered. Humanity had proven that even against overwhelming odds, courage, strategy, and honor could change everything. The council had expected negotiation, submission, and fear. Instead, they faced the truth. Humans would not bow, and the galaxy had begun to take notice. The stars shone brighter as if reflecting humanity's determination. The turning point had arrived, and the galaxy would never see humans the same way again. The galaxy was beginning to shift. Smaller star systems, long oppressed by the Council's dominance, watched humanity's fleet with awe and hope. Whispers spread quickly. A new power had arrived, not to conquer, but to protect. And some of those who had once supported the alien coalition now wondered if their loyalties had been misplaced. Secretly, representatives from distant worlds reached out to Ambassador Elena Hayes. They sought guidance, alliances, and protection. They admired the humans' courage, precision, and fairness. For centuries, they had lived under fear. Now, a species young in galactic terms had shown them something entirely new, that strength could coexist with honor, and power could protect, rather than oppress. General Marcus Vey coordinated these efforts with care. "We will accept no blind loyalty," he said. "We will not dominate. We will protect those who choose freedom and guide those who wish to stand with us. Our strength is in our principles, not in conquest." On the Bridge of the Liberty, a holographic map displayed dozens of small systems ready to join humanity's cause. Engineers and diplomats worked side by side, repairing damaged ships, distributing supplies, and preparing defenses. Humanity's fleet moved with incredible efficiency, ensuring that no system would fall prey to intimidation again. Captain Lena Zhao piloted her wing through one of the newly allied star systems. "These people have suffered too long," she said. "We will make sure they are safe. Every life matters." Her words carried across the comms to every pilot, reinforcing a simple truth. Humanity fought not for glory, but for justice. Back at the Council, the older empires were panicking. Their fleets were weakened, their influence crumbling. They had expected humans to submit, to negotiate under pressure. Instead, humanity's combination of strategy, honor, and restraint had inspired loyalty elsewhere, turning former enemies into potential allies. Elena addressed her fleet in a secure transmission. "Remember," she said, "our mission is not conquest. It is to protect, to inspire, and to stand for freedom. Strength is meaningless without honor, and victory is hollow without purpose." The new allies responded with trust and courage. Ships from distant systems joined the human fleet, bringing knowledge, technology, and manpower. Even some alien captains who had once served the Council switched sides, unable to ignore humanity's example. They had witnessed a species willing to fight with integrity, courage, and compassion, a combination few had seen in the galaxy before. Human engineers shared technology carefully, improving defenses for those who had suffered most under oppression. Every alliance was forged through respect, not fear. Humanity did not demand obedience, they inspired it. General Vey watched the growing fleet, pride in his eyes. "This is more than a battle," he said quietly. "This is a movement. The galaxy is waking up." Elena stood beside him, gazing at the stars that reflected the light of hundreds of ships. "We have shown them a different way," she said softly. "A way where courage meets compassion and strength serves honor. That is humanity's promise." In the shadows, alien leaders began reconsidering their choices. They realized that loyalty based on fear could not survive against humans. Those who had once opposed the newcomers now saw a future in which strength could protect, not destroy. And quietly, the galaxy began to turn. The human fleet held steady, silent and powerful. Their light shone as a beacon of hope for those who had long lived in darkness. Allies multiplied, resistance faltered, and humanity's influence spread, not through intimidation but through courage, honor, and unwavering principle. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter that night, as if celebrating the rise of a species that would redefine what it meant to be strong. Humanity was no longer just a newcomer to the galaxy. They were a force to be respected, trusted, and followed. The Council grew desperate. Their fleets were fractured, their allies questioning loyalty, and their authority challenged like never before. They had expected humans to negotiate, to plead, to bow. Instead, humans had grown stronger with every action, turning former enemies into allies and reshaping the balance of power in the galaxy. Ambassador Elena Hayes stood in the council chamber, her calm gaze fixed on the alien leaders. "We have not come to conquer," she said firmly. "We have come to protect freedom, to defend those who cannot defend themselves, and to show that courage paired with honor is stronger than fear. Your time of intimidation is over." Outside, the human fleet shimmered in the darkness of space. It was not just large. It was flawless in formation, every ship positioned with purpose. But the Council could not yet grasp the true power humanity had prepared. Hidden behind the formation, humanity's ultimate secret awaited: the Aegis Array, a network of warships designed not for reckless destruction, but to defend entire star systems with overwhelming force. General Marcus Vey watched the Council's scouts approach, calm and confident. "They think they can challenge us," he said quietly. "Let's show them what honor, courage, and precision truly mean." Suddenly, the Aegis Array activated. Energy shields enveloped the fleet and projected outward to nearby star systems, creating an impenetrable barrier. The Council's fleets tried to strike, but their weapons fizzled against the human shields. Every attempt to attack was countered, every move anticipated. The humans had not only prepared for defense, they had prepared to show the galaxy that any aggression against freedom would fail. Captain Lena Zhao piloted the horizon with skill born of countless drills. She maneuvered through the human formation, coordinating attacks that disabled alien weapons without causing unnecessary casualties. The fleet was a symphony of strategy and restraint, demonstrating humanity's brilliance to everyone watching. Elena addressed the Council once more, her voice calm but resonant. "We do not seek war. We do not wish to destroy. But if threatened, we will defend ourselves and those who choose freedom. The galaxy will no longer be ruled by fear." The Council leaders paled. They realized they had underestimated humanity, not just their fleet, but their intelligence, discipline, and moral courage. Entire systems had shifted loyalty in secret, inspired by humans' actions. The alien empires had expected negotiation, submission, and fear. Instead, they faced a species that combined unmatched strength with unwavering principle. Even the youngest officers in the Council's fleets whispered among themselves. "We cannot beat them," one said. "Not in battle, not in honor. They fight differently, stronger, smarter, better." And that was exactly humanity's intention. They had not come to dominate or destroy. They had come to redefine what strength meant. Courage, strategy, compassion, and honor were more powerful than intimidation or force alone. As the human fleet held its formation, calm yet unyielding, the galaxy began to understand the truth. Humans were not reckless, naive, or weak. They were disciplined, determined, and willing to risk everything to defend freedom. The Aegis array was not just a weapon. It was a message. Humanity protects what it values and will never bow to fear. Elena and General Vey stood side by side on the Liberty, watching the stars. "This is more than a victory," Vey said softly. "It is a promise." Elena nodded. "A promise that courage, honor, and freedom will always have defenders. Humanity has shown the galaxy what we are capable of, and they will remember it forever." The Council had no choice. Their fleets withdrew, their influence diminished, and the galaxy shifted quietly but irrevocably. Humans had revealed their ultimate strength, not in conquest but in principle, strategy, and the unwavering will to protect. And in the silent expanse of space, the human fleet glowed brighter than any star, a beacon of hope and power that could never be ignored. The galaxy had changed. Systems that had once bowed to fear now looked to humanity as a symbol of courage, honor, and hope. The Council had been humbled. Fleets that had ruled through intimidation now trembled at the quiet strength of humans. What had been expected to be a negotiation had become a turning point for the entire galaxy. Ambassador Elena Hayes stood aboard the flagship Liberty, gazing at the stars. The human fleet moved steadily through space, calm and disciplined, yet carrying the weight of their victories and the responsibility of the systems they protected. "We did what we had to," she said softly to General Marcus Vey. "We defended humanity, and we showed the galaxy what strength really means." Vey nodded, his eyes reflecting the glow of distant suns. They expected words. We gave them action. They expected submission. We gave them courage. And now they will never see humans the same way again. Across the galaxy, newly allied species celebrated quietly, knowing that for the first time, they had a protector who would fight, not for conquest but for justice. Humanity had inspired them to believe that freedom was worth defending, and that courage could unite even the smallest, weakest systems against oppression. A young alien envoy approached Elena with trembling hands. "Your species has changed everything," he whispered. "We feared humans would be weak, but you showed honor, strength, and mercy. We want to follow your example." Elena smiled gently. "Strength without honor is meaningless," she said, "and victory without purpose is hollow. Protect. Your people stand for what is right and never let fear control you. That is humanity's way." The human fleet continued its journey, moving from system to system. They repaired what had been broken, defended what had been threatened, and left a message wherever they went. Courage and morality were stronger than tyranny. Ships from allied species now traveled alongside humans, forming a coalition bound not by fear, but by trust, respect, and shared ideals. Back in the Council Citadel, leaders spoke in hushed tones. They had misjudged humans, expecting negotiation, submission, and hesitation. Instead, they had faced strategy, courage, and unwavering principle. The galaxy had witnessed a new standard, one that could not be ignored. General Vey placed his hand on Elena's shoulder. "We've done more than win battles," he said. "We've reminded the galaxy that strength is not in domination, but in protection, in honor, and in courage. And that reminder will last longer than any war." Elena looked out at the stars, feeling a quiet pride. Humanity had not conquered worlds. They had liberated hearts and minds. They had shown that even a young species facing overwhelming odds could redefine what it meant to be powerful. In the quiet of space, the fleet moved like a river of light, reflecting off the planets they protected. Every star seemed brighter, every system a little safer, every being in the galaxy more hopeful. Humanity had arrived not just as a participant in galactic affairs, but as a beacon, a force to be respected, trusted, and remembered. And in the silence that followed their triumphs, a truth became clear to every corner of the galaxy. Humans were not just a new species among many. They were a reminder that courage, honor, and principle could shape the future, that even against the strongest threats, integrity would stand, and that the galaxy itself could be changed by the will of those brave enough to act. The human fleet sailed onward, a shining testament to what it meant to be alive, to fight with purpose and to protect the values that truly mattered. The galaxy had expected negotiation. Instead, it had received a lesson in courage, strategy, and the enduring spirit of humanity. And from that day forward, no one ever doubted the power of humans again.